Lee Kuan Yew, Singapore's founding leader, held sharp insights into the complex relationship between the United States and China. While Lee valued America's entrepreneurial spirit, global influence, and military power, he also recognized its internal challenges, including rising inequality and political short-sightedness. On the other hand, he viewed China as a rising power with potential, but one struggling with centralization and talent attraction. Lee urged the U.S. to approach China's ascent with caution, advocating for collaboration over conflict, and believed that the relationship between these two giants would shape the future world order. As someone who understood the long game in geopolitics, Lee Kuan Yew had a deep appreciation for America's strengths. He believed that America would continue to be the dominant world power for three key reasons: its ability to attract global talent, its diverse centers of excellence, and its thriving entrepreneurial culture. The following are some of his praise and criticism of China and the United States. Number 1. The mighty attractor of global talent. Lee believed America's greatest strength lay in its ability to attract the brightest minds from around the world. America's culture of innovation, coupled with its universities and research institutions, made it a magnet for talent. Lee argued that no other country, including China, could rival America's capacity to integrate people from different cultures. It's not just American talent, Lee noted. You're attracting adventurous minds from all over the world. In contrast, Lee believed China's linguistic and cultural barriers made it harder for the country to attract the same level of international talent. Although China has made significant strides, its global influence in terms of soft power and cultural integration still lagged behind the U.S. Number 2. Diverse centers of excellence. Lee admired how America's innovation wasn't confined to just one city or region, but was spread across multiple hubs such as Silicon Valley, New York, and Boston. This decentralization fostered competition and creativity, leading to breakthroughs in technology and business. He noted that American society is always on the move and changing, which allowed it to remain dynamic and flexible in a rapidly evolving world. China, on the other hand, was more centralized, with Beijing playing a dominant role in the nation's economy and politics. While central authority gave China stability, Lee saw it as a barrier to the kind of free market competition that allowed American companies like Google and Apple to thrive. Number 3. Entrepreneurial spirit. Lee also praised America's entrepreneurial culture, where people were encouraged to take risks and innovate. This optimism, he believed, drove the country's economy forward. In America, even failed entrepreneurs could try again without being stigmatized, which kept the spirit of innovation alive. The United States is a frontier society, Lee explained, adding that this made the country uniquely positioned to adapt to new challenges. While Lee was optimistic about America's economic future, he also pointed out several challenges. One of his primary concerns was the growing inequality in American society. He warned that while America's free market system encouraged innovation, it also led to a widening gap between the rich and poor. Cities like New York showcased both extreme wealth and severe poverty. Lee was also critical of what he saw as America's overly individualistic culture. Lee argued that Western societies, particularly the U.S., had placed too much emphasis on individual rights at the expense of social order. He pointed to rising crime rates, drug abuse, and broken families as evidence of the decline in moral values. In contrast, Lee saw Asian societies, with their emphasis on family and community, as more stable and resilient. Lee Kuan Yew identified several key challenges that America would need to address in order to maintain its position as a global leader. Number 4. The debt crisis. One of Lee's greatest concerns was America's growing national debt. He believed that excessive borrowing without addressing underlying fiscal issues would eventually lead to economic problems. Lee warned that if the U.S. didn't manage its debt properly, it could face inflation and a loss of confidence in the dollar. Number 5. The education system. Lee was also critical of America's education system, which he saw as underfunded and ineffective in preparing students for the modern workforce. He argued that America needed to invest more in education to stay competitive globally. Number 6. Infrastructure. Lee pointed out that America's aging infrastructure needed serious upgrades. Roads, bridges, and transportation systems were deteriorating, which he believed could hinder the country's economic growth in the long run. Number 7. Racial and class divides. Lee also recognized the persistent issues of racism and class inequality in the U.S. He believed that these societal divides could weaken the country if not addressed, as they prevented the full participation of all citizens in the economy. Lee's vision for U.S.-China relations. As China's global influence continues to rise, Lee was clear in his belief that America must find a way to coexist with its rival. He warned against increasing protectionism, which could trigger trade wars and worsen global economic conditions. Instead, Lee called for greater cooperation between the two powers. He believed that by fostering mutual understanding and economic interdependence, the U.S. and China could avoid the mistakes of the past and ensure a peaceful future. Lee also urged America to acknowledge China's status as a great power and to treat it with respect. He argued that trying to isolate or contain China would only lead to more tension and conflict. Lee Kuan Yew's insights into the future of U.S.-China relations offer a powerful message for today's world. The American century is not over, but how America responds to these challenges will shape its future role on the global stage. Which one of Lee's arguments resonates with you the most? What do you think about China and U.S. relations? Do you think they would coexist as two superpowers? Please leave your comment below. We would love to hear from you.
Thank you for making it this far. If you like this video, you might want to share it with a like-minded friend. Thank you, and as always, stay blessed.